Hey guys. I'm gonna type in things. How's everybody doing today? Hey guys, how's everybody doing? I'm just typing something in the comments. How's everybody doing this Super Bowl weekend? Okay, let's see if I can pin this to the top. Pin comment. I'm getting better with IG Lives. How's everybody doing today? I'll wait till a few more people join. Hey D-Complex, I'm giving a shout out, so if you say hi to me, I'm gonna give you a shout out. Let me know where you guys are Instagramming in from. And I want to talk to you about some areas today. Hey Miles, Caramel Coffee. Douglasville in the house. We'll be talking a little bit about that. Just got back from brunch. If you guys are in the greater Atlanta area, I think they have 3 locations, but we checked out the second one today. It's called Grits and Eggs. And we've been to the Vinings location and the Marietta location we went to today, which was nice. Both were really nice. Customer service was great. I think if you're looking for a little bit more upscale experience, I definitely would say the Vinings location. What did I have today? I had salmon, blackened salmon with scrambled eggs and home fries, and Curt had fried salmon. Usually it's the fried catfish or the fried snapper with grits. So definitely check them out. The guy that owns it, he actually was the winner of Hell's Kitchen, that Fox show with Gordon Ramsay. So he opened up a few spots here in Greater Atlanta. So I wanted to today just jump on live. Couple things. If you'll notice the first pinned comment on our post for this live, I put it in there. It's youtube.com/@GreatHomesATL. Well, I want to point you guys in that direction is because a lot of our content, we're still going to obviously be here on Facebook and Instagram, but a lot of our long range content, like our home tours, are going to live there because we find it just to be a great platform where you can go even over to 15 minutes because Instagram, you can only go 15 minutes for my home tours. So try to keep it at that, but sometimes if I go over, I think YouTube's the better platform to watch my home tours because we have a lot of consultations and people on the consultation say like, hey, me and my husband, me and my wife, me and my partner, we watch our home tours actually on the big screen because, on your smart TVs now, they have obviously YouTube TV, YouTube, Hulu, Netflix, and stuff like that. So a lot of people don't know that we actually have our own channel on YouTube since we're content creators and business owners. So we think it's a great platform to kind of see my home tours and stuff on the big screen. And plus, we have a new podcast that is launching next month. You'll start seeing the advertisements next week. I think you guys are going to be blown away with it. We have a whole production team here in Greater Atlanta, so we're really, really excited about it. But why I wanted to also jump on here for the live is to share with you some of my thoughts on some of the areas I've been posting about recently. Thanks for the congratulations. Is it Warren? Warren D. Love. But stay tuned for that podcast. I think you're going to really, really enjoy it. We're going to have a whole Instagram page for it as well. So stay tuned. The trailer is all set and we'll start launching it next week. Warren Love. Okay, gotcha. So let's talk about some of the areas I've been highlighting recently. When people hit us up we showcase a lot of, high-end homes, and then I try to highlight some more affordable homes. And as opposed to a lot of the brokerage firms and real estate firms here in Atlanta, it's all about show. It's all about wearing your Louis Vuittons and red bottoms and all these designer, and we don't get us wrong, we like designer labels too. However, Great Homes ATL has always been about like the common man or common woman that aspire to get to that level. As you know, I've talked about in previous videos, I bought my very first house at 24 years old. I wasn't looking at a $700,000 price point. So when I see a lot of times in the comments, like, I'm praying on this, I'm hoping that one day I'll be able to do it, and then they spend the next 25, 30 years waiting to obtain that $700,000, $800,000 house and renting those whole 25, 30 years and just hoping and praying and hoping their life situation changes. That's not really the path that I took in real estate. And I want to, share these areas with you that are more affordable and some of the, I wouldn't even call them sacrifices, some of the things that you got to consider to get to that point. I always tell people we're our owners of our own real estate firm, right? We sell real estate left and right. We have 5-star ratings. People love us and all that kind of stuff, which we appreciate. But even ourselves as owners of a real estate firm, we're not in the market right now because of our price point for the $1 million and plus homes. You know what I'm saying? So want to get you and understand the path to get there and then open you up to some areas. So let's start with Dallas, Georgia, work our way to HIRAM, and then Douglasville, Georgia. So when I first started posting about Dallas, Georgia, always the first question is, don't you mean Dallas, Texas, right? Where the Cowboys play. But no, this is something when I moved to Atlanta 25 years ago, I moved to Atlanta. You wouldn't have been able to tell me on the map where Dallas, Georgia is, Hiram, Georgia, Douglasville, Georgia, all these things, because I, like a lot of people, only knew and lived in Atlanta, right? Midtown, downtown, Buckhead. You might have heard of Roswell, Alpharetta, some of them more Sandy Springs, some of them more glamorous, or I would say more so expensive areas of greater Atlanta. And we sell in those areas, and they're multi-million-dollar, homes. But our bread and butter, if you remember, if you've been following us since 2015, I started putting you on to areas like South Fulton, which wasn't the city of South Fulton at that time. It was just Southwest Atlanta, but now it's a whole city. And people would say, why would anybody want to live in South Fulton? And I was here building custom, semi-custom, new homes for people in the 2s and low 3s. Their values now, guys, are 5s, 6s, and 7s. So as I was going on and as I, branched out as a real estate agent and started discovering all different areas, Gwinnett County, Jackson County, Henry County, obviously Fulton, I started discovering areas like Douglas County and now Paulding County. And so I had to go out there and see for myself. And how I even got Dallas on the map was there was a client of mine who was a truck driver, and he said, he wanted, he had done his research and he had wanted to live in Dallas, Georgia. So that was my first experience. So as I started searching for homes out there, I started obviously driving out there, looking at resale homes. He wanted a resale home, not a new home. And every time I started going out there, I started spending more time going to the local grocery store, going to shopping centers, getting a feel for myself for the area. And then the next year, you start seeing land being cleared, and you start seeing home building going into these areas. And as I did my home tours and I was experiencing and doing videos for new homes in the 200s and 300s, and even 400s, people that had started to look or really wanted to be in, let's say, maybe Cobb County. You're thinking about Kennesaw, Marietta, Mableton, Smyrna, Vinings area. They started realizing, oh my God, like I cannot even touch a new townhouse, never mind a new single family house in those areas. So I started filming for people. And as I was filming, I started developing relationships with a lot of the agents out there and all that kind of stuff. And so I gradually started getting people that were interested in that area. This is probably now, I would say 6-7 years ago, when they were really like in the 2s and 3s. And some of them are, I'll still tell you as we go along. So as I'm selling these new homes, as I'm seeing these people get these amazing rates, 2s, 3s, 4s, seeing right around the corners, like a public shopping center, dry cleaning, your Waffle House, all those things that people, their day-to-day uses are and needs, we get them into these communities. And all of a sudden, 6 months later, 8 months later, 12 months later, 24 months later, these homes that I sold at $275,000, $325,000 are now $450,000, $499,000, $510,000. So as a real estate professional, and obviously looking at the scope of Greater Atlanta, as people are contacting us, a lot of times they do ask our opinion, where do you think I should live? What's a good, safe area? What has good schools? I've been priced out of this particular area. That's how Dallas, Georgia became more and more. And so in recent months, you have seen my tours. I did a community of a big national builder. They do 2 and 3 car garages, 2-story family rooms, sometimes other ones with like sitting areas, lofts, and they are beautiful homes, wooded settings in the 400s. Whereas you take that same house and you put it in Sandy Springs, you put it in Dunwoody, you put it in Woodstock, you put it in East Cobb, you put it in Roswell, would be 900, 1.1, 1.5 million. And this is what I want you to understand about real estate is it's about location and discovering places that the general public, has not truly discovered. So let me tell you a little bit what I've discovered about Dallas, Georgia. Number one, I've shared this, I think, in previous videos and posts. You know that Curt is originally from South Philly. So his mom and his brother, his father unfortunately passed away a few years ago, and his family decided to get closer to us. And so when they relocated down here, we started looking realistically, price point. They both wanted to be able to build brand new. And Dallas, Georgia was the area that we found that was affordable and you could get a pretty big house. So we ended up getting Curt's brother, this beautiful 5-bedroom, 4.5 bath house, gigantic loft space, full brick, hardy plank, which is a concrete siding around the sides, nice sized lot, and had a 3 in front of it. Again, you take that same house and you put it in a different area that is just at that time much more economic development, already kind of established itself. Like a city like a Marietta, a city like, let's say, on the Gwinnett side, a Duluth, in town, Atlanta, of course, Southside, Peachtree City. These are already established, very wealthy, infrastructure in place, safe areas. So now you start trying to look for the next Marietta, the next Woodstock, all those type of things. So we took him out there, and that was a community that really, really spoke to him, and you just could not believe the size you got. And then what happened was, as we're checking in every week on the progress of his house, the excitement of watching your house built, I'm spending much more time out there. So as I go out there, afterwards, because it's probably about 40, 45 minutes from where we live, I started saying, okay, well, let me explore. Oh my God, they have this really cute, quaint downtown area. They have this new hospital, brand new hospital they just built. They got clearing land here. Oh my God, there's gonna be a whole new shopping center over there. So that's how, as a real estate professional, again, as I'm thinking not what is maxed out, what's already, maxed out in price, this has the opportunity to open up your back door and look at trees. Go down to the local coffee house. You still got, Starbucks in the area, but supporting small businesses. And you're seeing like, wow, the customer service in this area is fabulous. The beautiful trees in the spring and fall, right? As the fall they're changing colors, spring they're coming back to life. You're just seeing like, wow, this is an amazing quality of life. So again, as I'm spending time out there, I'm visiting 1, 2, all the way up to about 12, 13 brand new home communities. And then all of a sudden, obviously there's a lot of people interested. And so when I'm posting, and I think this week I posted, last week I posted my video tours of the 3-car garage, brand new home communities in Dallas. Got a great response. This past week, and I think in the story I also posted today, a 5-bedroom, I think it's 3-bath, 2-car garage, wooded lot on a basement for $404,900. In addition to that, they're going to buy your interest rate down like to 4.99, 5.5%. Now, what that equates to, guys, is the builder is paying like $22,000, $23,000, not you, they are, to get you that interest rate, to make it affordable for you. Because if you went in the resale market, you're looking at like 6.5, 6.75%. That's a savings of like $700 or $800 a month in your payment. That's like the difference between, instead of a $3,500 payment, it's like a $2,800 payment. And all of a sudden, on a 5-bedroom basement home, that would never be touched in a Marietta, a Kennesaw, a Roswell, a Duluth, these areas, Vining, Smyrna. So it's opening up so much possibilities. We're talking about like sitting on like a half an acre of land too, right? And so what I would say about it, because I always want to give you both sides of the pluses and minuses, is people are so much caught up like in commute times and things like that. Now, I will say this. I've lived in literally every section, every county of Atlanta, in greater Atlanta. And I will tell you, because I've lived in town, I could be living in Midtown, having to work in like a Buckhead or Brookhaven, and it's going to take me 35, 40 minutes to get to where I need to be or my job. It's just because of Atlanta traffic, side streets, highways, infrastructure, construction, all that kind of stuff. And this is some place that's like literally on a map, 10 miles, 9 miles, 11 miles, 7 miles sometimes away. So what you have to understand overall about Greater Atlanta is, like any major city, LA, New York, Chicago, Detroit, Miami, you're going to have to deal with traffic. So it comes down to, where do I want to lay my head at night? What schools do I want to send my kids to? Do I want to feel safe? Do I want to have the potential 5, 7, 10 years down to build equity on a faster rate than I would already in the in-town market, right? And that's what Dallas provides. Now, saying that, the one drawback to a Dallas, Georgia, is it's not connected to like the expressway, right? So you're going to have to probably drive 20, 22 minutes to get to like one of the major expressways, like 75 or I-20 if you go back roads. But there are a lot of areas in the area that are very much desirable. Like, you could be in Dallas, Georgia, and be probably 16, 17 minutes away from Marietta Square. You could be 7-8 minutes away from the Avenue at West Cobb. You could be 30 minutes from the Battery. You can be 15 minutes from Ackworth Beach, where there's an actual beach with sand that's part of a lake in an area called Ackworth. You can, like I said, go down to downtown Ackworth. You could go to downtown Woodstock. You could go to downtown Roswell. And right in your own city, downtown Dallas, that will have like a playhouse, a coffee house, a boutique clothing store. And then you're going to have a state-of-the-art, brand new hospital. Wellstar is out there, which is, Wellstar is one of the big ones. You have Piedmont here in Georgia, Grady, Emory, and Wellstar are the big hospitals. So what's attractive also is like if somebody's a nurse, if somebody's a doctor, somebody works in medical billing, there's a ton of jobs in that kind of Paulding County corridor. It will also get you to some of the hospitals like in Kennesaw and Marietta as well. So I would say that, like I said, the only downside is if you're not into a more rural feel. Now, when I say rural, that doesn't mean like you can be in the backwoods and all that kind of stuff. I'm just talking about you see a lot of trees, but you still have your Publix and your grocery shopping and stuff like that in the area. So when you see me post homes in Dallas, I want you to, have that be an area that you consider if you're okay with those things I talked about. The lack of highway access and just being, further north and west of Cobb County. But like I said, you're just over the line, so you have direct access to a Kennesaw, Powder Springs, stuff like that. All right, so that is Dallas, Georgia. I wanted to keep on the map, and definitely a big chunk of houses that are still in the 400s with big rate buy downs and help with closing costs. Actually, I'm going to be posting a few more videos out in Dallas, and I have a great drive-through tour. I got the heads up of a brand new home community coming to Dallas. I think it's gonna be in the 4s and low 5s. Again, showing you how fast these prices are appreciating. And I just say to you guys, if you think 3s and 4s are high, when I just talked about 2, 3, 4 years ago, they were 2s and 3s. I want you to think, what's it gonna look like in 2030? Which sounds pretty far off, right? But it's only 6 years, less than 6 years down the line. So you gotta kind of, think about that. Next, HIRAM, Georgia. HIRAM, Georgia is so funny because when I first started discovering HIRAM, Georgia, I used to go on my videos and do my home tours and be like, HIRAM. And it was actually somebody that lived in HIRAM that corrected me. That's how much I didn't know about it. But how I discovered HIRAM, Georgia is one day, because we live in the Douglas County area. So one day I used to always go straight to Fulton County, go right to the airport. I never really went all the way down to the left. So I would start driving past Austell, Powder Springs, and then all of a sudden I see this shopping center. This is like a main thoroughway. And I'm like, oh my God, there's like a Kohl's, there's a JCPenney, there's a Best Buy, there's Target, look at that Greek restaurant, look at that, Outback Steakhouse, look at Chili's, look at like AMC movie theaters, right? I'm seeing all this and I'm like, I never knew that this was out here. And I timed myself and I was like, oh, it was only like 30 minutes from my house, which means if I can get to the city in 20 minutes from my house, then you're talking about, 45 minutes to downtown Atlanta, which isn't bad because, like I said, we sold houses all the time to people in Lawrenceville, McDonough, Woodstock. And so it's not unusual for people to have 40, 45, even an hour commute. So I'm like, okay, let me consider, hey, Bougie Femme. Yes, let me read your comment first before I continue with HIRAM. So Bougie Femme, Bougela, is it Femme? I purchased my home in Dallas, Georgia for $425 in 2008 and and sold it in 2021 for $640. Dallas, Georgia is a great place to purchase a home. Thank you for validating that. I appreciate that. Now hopefully you use us for the next home. But as I'm, discovering HIRAM, I'm like, oh my God, let me kind of explore this area anymore. And so let me tell you exactly how I got totally sold on HIRAM. So I just told you about how Curt's brother, we found him the home, this big house at a very affordable price point in Dallas. So as Curt's mom is now considering moving down here, we want a place that is kind of, between where we live in Douglas County and where he's going to be living in Dallas, so that we could both visit mom. That's the point of having the family down here. And she's coming from South Philly, so the inner city, right? And so we don't know, but we want her to experience, a good, safe area, but something different. So I start my search, like I do, and online and in the system, and I discover a 55 and older community. Now, what a 55 and older community is pretty much what the name says. You have to be, there's some situations where, like, if you're single, have no pets, no dog, no pets, no kids, they may consider you, but for the most part, the whole purpose of a 55 and older community is for people that are 55 years and older. You're not at that age where you gotta be in a nursing home, but you're not young enough where you want to be dipping and doing it in, the city of Atlanta. But you want a really nice place to live. So we discovered this 55 and older community, and they pretty much have ranch floor plans, one level living, which most seniors want to live in. And we're not talking about a place where they're serving you Jell-O every day. This is actually homes. You're a homeowner. It's just a sense of community of people that are 55 and older, probably have already raised their kids, maybe have their grandchildren, or have never had kids. And they go down to the clubhouse and they play bocce ball, right? And they have, clubhouse gatherings and stuff like that. And so we looked in an area called Villa Rica that came up, and we looked in an area called HIRAM that was like, oh my God, let's just go drive by and take a look. And so we wanted a place where, again, mom felt like she still can get around, right? You could use Uber or Lyft, and it wouldn't cost her a fortune because all these things I just told you about, Kohl's, Marshall's, Yogli Mowgli, AMC Theaters, Outback Steakhouse. She's a big fan of like Longhorns is her spot. And so we're starting to think about like, this would actually be perfect. It's going to be a gated community. It has a pond with a water feature in the middle. And again, these are affordable prices. At the time, it started even in the twos. Now, again, I'm telling you because we've been putting HIRAM and Dallas and all these places on the map. They're now 3s, 4s, 5s, and even 6s. But at the time, she was able to actually pick her lot, go to a design center, and for the very first time in her life, she owned a house up in Philly, but she had a resale one. And they were row houses, what they call row houses, which are kind of considered townhouses down here. And so here she is. She just retired from her job. She lost her husband a few years ago. She wants to be closer to the kids. Imagine that feeling that she had. Her whole life she worked. She had owned her house outright for probably the last 15 years. And in her 60s, she's able to move closer to her kids and build a brand new house, going to a design center with her son and son-in-law, picking everything out from the flooring to the knobs to the paint color to all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of how we became familiar with HIRAM, because every week we would go, as she was in Philly until she moved to Atlanta. She moved to Atlanta with us probably about 3 months before she closed on the house. So imagine me, because this is what I do, my home tours and stuff. I'm out there every week sending her videos. You guys, if you followed us along in that 2021 time frame, 2022 time frame is when she closed. You followed that progress because I would put in the story and some of the videos her picture standing on her lot, nothing but dirt. Then the next phase, watching the house getting framed. Then, the progress until the final result and how celebratory it was. I mean, we had celebrities, we had professional athletes following our page, following the story of Mama Russell, Curt's mom, building her house. And it really touched a lot of people's lives. So by us going out there every week to check on the progress, to send her pictures, all of a sudden we started discovering, oh, here's the local bagel shop. Here's the local coffee store. Let's run into Target to pick something up, right? Oh my God, they have a cute little downtown area. Oh, look, there's a Greek and Italian restaurant over there, right? And so as I'm spending more and more time, I'm starting to look up new homes that are coming and some resales too of HIRAM. And I'm like, oh my God, these are really, really nice new homes and all this area shopping, but still with that kind of rural feel. Some of this land is like old farmland that they now are making into subdivisions. But wow, there's an Ingles or there's a Kroger's across the street or there's a Publix, right? There's the AMC movie theater. And so that's when I started doing my drive-through tours and starting saying, hey guys, what people really can't afford, not everybody can afford the $4, $5, $6, $7, $800,000 house. So let me try to find you something in the high 2s and in the 3s. And once I started doing that and filming that, people would follow the process. And we've got dozens of people building in these areas like a HIRAM that can get a 3, 4, 5 bedroom house brand new, go into the model home and pick out their faucets, their knobs, their cabinet colors, all that stuff. And so the trade-off is, again, guys, number one, people just have to understand because they just don't know. They just hear about Marietta, Cobb County, Fulton County, and then the other extreme, like the McDonough's, Locust Groves, and stuff like that. And they don't realize it's actually exactly the same distance or even closer and more accessible if you do travel to get to the airport, because HIRAM, Dallas, Douglasville allows you straight shots, but not too close, but gives you a straight shot to the airport. Whereas some of these other places, you got to go an hour and a half, 2 hours ahead of time to get to the airport because you're coming from all these different areas, where this is just a straight shot right down to the airport. Straight shot down and make a left, you go right to Atlanta. So that's where HIRAM became really, really popular. So I was out there last weekend and I still got about 3 or 4 more video tours to do, but my phone has been going off the hook. My DMs are scheduled consultations because whenever you can tell people you can build a brand new home comfortably from 309, 317, 357, and we're talking about 3, 4, 5 bedroom houses, ranches and 2 stories, brick exteriors, some with lofts, some with masters with sitting areas, some you choose, circular or rectangular sink. I mean, it's so exciting. And then a lot of them, like I said, are offering either rate buy downs or they're giving you, I think in this community, $7,500 for your closing costs. Because people have to understand that you're not just doing your down payment, you also as a buyer have to pay for your closing costs, which equate to about 3.5% of the sales price. So if somebody's giving you $5,000, $7,000, $10,000, $12,000, $15,000, it becomes actually realistic to build in that area. So HIRAM is the next one. Now, Douglasville. Let's start talking about Douglasville, because if you notice, that is an area that I post a lot about for a couple of reasons. I told you at the beginning of this video, or towards the beginning of the video, you're talking to a real estate professional, but you're also talking to somebody that relocated from Connecticut, had rented for not many years, but a couple of years before I bought my first house, and has lived literally I would say if if I'm talking about like 8 counties, I've probably lived in about 5 of them. So I'm talking from experience. So the story about Douglasville happened because we used to live in South Fulton. That was where we, as a couple, purchased our first house together. And we had this huge finished basement house with an Atlanta address. And it was great. We had our daughter there. We had our 2 boxers, nice big backyard, koi pond, all that good stuff. And we did. We liked the area. However, we wanted, I didn't like the gym. This is how Douglasville became on the map to us. I didn't like the gym, the area was. They were having issues, break-ins, all kinds of stuff. So during that time period, I had also got laid off from my job. So I started driving as just like, the gig, separate gig, just to make some little extra money. This is like just right before we started GreatHomesATL. I started picking up Uber and Lyft rides where people were requesting to take them to Douglasville. And a couple times, on Uber or Lyft, you could take a little break, shut off the app, and grab like coffee at Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or go to the gym. And so at the time, I had been going to LA Fitness in South Fulton. And I said, there was too many issues over there. I had brought my gym bag, and I would just wait to do Uber or Lyft, take 2 or 3 hours off and get my workout in. And so I would go to LA Fitness in Douglasville. And on the way back home, I'd start stopping at like Kroger's or Publix. And when I get back home, and obviously talking to Curt and stuff like that, we kind of talk about his day, I talk about my day, and I was like, yeah, like some of my Uber rides and some of the, like, I actually worked out at LA Fitness in Douglasville today. And I'm starting to kind of like the area. I see the potential. And I had kept driving by this one community that just absolutely, it was like my dream community. It's a community that is just so gorgeous, but it had stopped building for many years, but it was getting advertised that they were going to start building in the area again. And so I said, and Curt's like, man, I'm happy here. Like, we got this big house. We have an Atlanta address. Why would we want to live in Douglasville, right? And so, the little things I would say, I said, oh, let's go grab breakfast. Let's go work out there. And so we found a local bagel shop. He tried himself, because he's really the grocery shopper in our family. He started going to some of the grocery stores, and he's like, I like this area. He's like, the people are super friendly. I feel safe. It's much more diverse than I thought, because people hear the word Douglas, anything with a ville in it, and they automatically think country, right? Or redneck and all that kind of stuff. But it's actually super diverse. And so we just started spending more and more and more time over there. When it was time to consider buying a house, this community that I dreamt of opened up in the area, and rates were super low at the time. And we went over there, and he actually liked it himself. And we were able to pick out our lot, pick out our floor plan, go to a design center, get a special interest rate, get help with our closing costs. And the house that I'm sitting in now, that's the house that we built from the ground up. I actually got some pictures I got to put up in the story, because it was like yesterday or today. I look back, because you know how you have memories that come up in your phone or on Facebook. Our house that I'm sitting in now, we built during COVID. We went under contract in January of 2020. It started getting built right around this time, right around Valentine's Day of 2020. And it got completed when COVID got announced in March. Imagine building a house during COVID, right? Supply chain issues, people not being able to go to work, people getting sick. But we ended up closing in July of 2020. So obviously now, what I just shared that story with you, and now living in the area, I am blown away. It's the best investment we ever made. So I started sharing that with people. I'm like, hey, do you want to live in our community? They are releasing more lots in here. And people would come from, we had people from Midtown Atlanta, a lot of people from New York, a lot of people from Alabama, a lot of people from Miami, because they would come up here and they're like, oh my God, this is Douglasville? They're like, this is only like 25 minutes to downtown Atlanta. This is insane. And I travel a lot, so getting to the airport, like super, super easy. And I'll tell you in a second on the bagel shop. Well, I'll have to tell you in the DMs because I can't give it out publicly. But so that's kind of how I discovered. And since we moved into the area, I've developed more and more relationships with local builders, politicians in the area, so I know what's coming. And so a couple of years ago, I got wind that Lionsgate, the movie studio, when you go into the AMC or the Regal Cinemas or you're watching on your streaming, what comes up sometimes, that is Sony, Columbia, Tyler Perry's, stuff like that. One of the things that Tyler Perry is associated with is Lionsgate movie studios. Guess what they just built in Douglasville, Georgia? Lionsgate movie studios. And so what does that mean for the economy? What does that mean for the area? That means your favorite movie actors, production assistants, all the jobs that it's going to bring to the area, the celebrities that are going to be filming at those studios literally 5 minutes down the street from me. Guess what happened? Property values just continue to go up. And so they've got that. You probably guys, if you're on Instagram, you're watching the blogs, you'll see that Tyler Perry is a real estate mogul in both California and in Georgia. He sold his big mansion in Buckhead to Steve Harvey. He just sold not too far from Douglasville, an area called Chattahoochee Hills, which I'll talk about some other time because we've got a lot of people down there too. He just sold his big mansion there. And right behind my community, as you drive into the community, you look up on the hill, he is building his gigantic mansion. I'm talking, it has to be over 30,000 square feet. And so and there's a lot of people that secretly, like, people don't put all their business out there on social media. Yes, there are the celebrities that live in Buckhead and Midtown and Roswell and Johns Creek and Alpharetta, great areas. But there are a lot of people that live, like a lot of celebrities that live in Fayetteville, Carrollton, Douglasville, Smyrna. Trust me, I just saw Powder Springs. The Rock bought a house out there. They're starting to go to Dallas, Douglasville, and stuff like that. So that's coming to the area. You'll see more and more coffee shops, restaurants. There's a restaurant. There's a person that has a restaurant, a big restaurant, very popular in Buckhead. But the actual people that own that high-end restaurant in Buckhead actually live in Douglasville, because smart money knows, why am I going to pay double the taxes to live in Midtown, downtown, Buckhead, Atlanta, pay Fulton County taxes, pay the same house that I can get here for $450, $550, $750. If you guys watched my tours today, I did a tour yesterday and today of 2 homes in Douglasville, Georgia. 3-sided brick, 4 and 5 bedroom, basement, all 1 acre lots, big driveways, gorgeous brick and stone fronts. That house would be easily $1.5, $1.6 million in Buckhead, Sandy Springs, Alpharetta. You might say, well, that's the difference. It's Douglasville. You drive through that community, it's better than half of those areas. Also, when you drive in the community, when you drive out of the community, you're not fighting to get down to the next traffic light where it takes you 20 minutes. It's an easy shot right down the parkway to get to the airport. You'll pass like Fairburn. You pass, I think, that kind of Chattahoochee Hills, Fairburn. Then you hit Atlanta. So you are in downtown Atlanta in about 45 minutes. You're at the airport in 30 minutes. On your way, there's an amazing resort that they're building a great high-end hotel. There's gaming like ATVs, fishing, skeet shooting. They have like a hotel and a restaurant on site, so you could have your salmon dinner, your steak dinner, and people just don't know about it, right? And then as you're driving and you make a right, you get into an area called Chattahoochee Hills. I want you to look it up. I want you to look up Serenbe, Serenbe. It's not for everybody, but it is basically a city or a town, a village within a city. And the concept of this Serenbe is earth friendly. You'll see a lot of one of the guys from the actors from The Walking Dead just listed his house. He has a beautiful modern house in the community. And it's kind of a secret gem of Greater Atlanta. Now, it's expensive. I mean, it's mostly like 700s to like $2 or $3 million homes. But that's what I'm talking about. This, compared to where it is in Douglasville, is literally about 12, 13 minutes away. And so you have to think strategically, where do I feel safe? Where do I get my most bang for my buck? Where do I get, if I want that luxury look, but for less, but still have proximity to Atlanta and the airport if I need to get there? Because I tell you, like I just said, you could spend $1.5, $1.6 million for the same house in Alpharetta. And guess what? That commute from Alpharetta to the airport is going to take you double the time. It's going to take you double the time to get to downtown Atlanta because that 400 corridor and all the traffic and all that kind of stuff. So I want you to think outside the box and not think about what our family and friends going to think. Oh, like everybody wants to live in Sandy Springs. Everybody wants to live in Smyrna or Vinings. Everybody wants to live in Dunwoody. Everybody wants to live in Buckhead. 9 times out of 10, myself included, we're not going to be able to afford those areas. It's not just about the price of the house, guys. It's about the property taxes. It's about the continued increases in the property taxes. It's about the construction in the area and all that kind of stuff. So Douglasville, the cool thing about it, like I just described, it's a secret gem. Movies are being shot in the area. New restaurants, new shopping centers. They have a flagship mall. It's called Arbor Place Mall in there. Now, is it Lenox Mall? Is it Fisk Plaza? Absolutely not. And I'm not going to lie about that. But I know the city and everything is trying to think of creative different ways to expand it and do other things with it. But it does have Macy's and Dillard's and Sunglass Hut and, things that you need to just grab. JCPenney has things to grab, your everyday clothing needs and stuff like that. So the great thing about Douglasville is that you have a portion like where we live that's about 20, 25 minutes to the city, 30, 35 minutes to the airport. But then if you want like more of a rural feel to it, we've got clients building on these 1 acre lots, 3 acre lots, building homes in the 5s, 6s, 7s, and 8s. And again, relative to what you get in some of these other areas, it's just a really, really kind of fantastic quality of life. And then so you got to ask yourself, okay, I've either been young or I've been dipping and doing it, right? I've been living that city life. It always surprises me that when we have consultations with New Yorkers, again, 9 times out of 10, you would think, okay, they've been living in the boroughs, right? Because Curt lived for about 10 years up in New York. So he lived in the Bronx. He lived in Queens. He worked in Manhattan, worked in New Jersey and stuff like that. So we know, and I grew up in Connecticut and traveled to New York often. So our thought is these Northerners, these people that are like that fast-paced life, they're going to want to transfer from like any of these boroughs to a Buckhead, to a Smyrna, to a Midtown Atlanta. I can't tell you, again, not all of them, but I'd say 9 times out of 10, I've sold more in the suburban areas and a lot in Dallas, HIRAM, and Douglasville that we're talking about. Because the cool thing about Douglasville is it's still, even though the prices have gone up, I talked about it, 2s, 3s, low 4s just a couple of years ago. Now, mostly 4s, 5s, 6s, and 7s, and 8s. I ask you, now that Tyler Perry is moving into the area, now that Lionsgate is in the area, now that downtown Douglasville has an amphitheater, and who knows what they'll have plans in the future for that mall area and stuff like that. I ask you, what will the prices be if they were just 2s, 3s, and 4s a couple of years ago? Again, when we get to 2030, 2032, 2033, 2035, remember, you're taking out a 30-year mortgage on these homes. So you have to think 30 years down the line. That doesn't mean you're going to stay in the home for 30 years, but you got to think about, if I'm going to buy a house with a 30-year mortgage, what's the potential down the line? And so I ask you, if they were 2s, 3s, and 4s, and now are 5s, 6s, and 7s, what will they be 7, 8, 10 years from down the line? They will be 7s, 8s, 9s, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 million dollars, while Sandy Springs, Alpharetta were already starting at 800, 1.2, 1.5. So they probably will be. But how many people in this country, listen, we deal with celebrities, we deal with professional athletes, but our bread and butter is the everyday worker. Truck drivers, nurses, teachers, doctors, accountants, everyday people. And just people cannot afford a $10,000, $12,000 a month payment. But they can afford 2s, 3s, maybe even 4s or 5s if they, do really well, keep really low debt levels, keep really low or non-existent car notes, have a spouse that can help them out. You guys are splitting the bills together. A family goes into a purchase together. And so you got to think about those things. Most people are not going to be able to afford in town or north of the city prices. So that's why Dallas is so attractive. HIRAM is super attractive. Douglasville is attractive because you have, how it works, guys, you're coming down I-20. So in Atlanta, you have 75, 85 hour highways, and then I-20 east or west, and then 285 is a circle that incorporates, think of a circle around the perimeter of Atlanta. So what happens is for Douglasville, HIRAM, Dallas, you could take a couple of different ways, but especially Douglasville and HIRAM, you're coming down I-20. So I want you to picture Atlanta. I want you to picture, now you're tapping a little bit into Austell, and now you're into Douglas County. So only 2 little stops to get to Atlanta from Douglas County. So you got Atlanta, Austell, Lithia Springs. Lithia Springs is another area to consider. It's next to Douglasville. And then you hit Douglasville. So you're really like, when in the big picture of things, you're looking at like maybe, a couple of exits down to get to 285. And then it's a straight shot to Atlanta. Where we live, no joke. Now, it always depends on traffic, but depending on the time of day, I've gotten to downtown Atlanta, like that Morehouse area, in 20 minutes. I've gotten to the connector, 75, 85, 20, where it all connects, in 25 minutes. I've gotten to Midtown Atlanta in 27 minutes, and I've gotten to Buckhead in 35 to 37 minutes. So when people say, again, I think mentally what people think of is Ville. And we talked about that earlier. Ville, anything with a Ville in it, or a town that doesn't sound familiar, like a Hiram, compared to a Marietta, a Dunwoody, a Sandy Springs, then that's where people get lost. And what I want you to learn from this is take the time. Take the time to understand the difference of commute times and understand that where you lay your head down. And I had a talk with one of our clients today. It was a really good talk. They are going to be they look today in Dallas, and they're going to be looking at Fairburn. And Fairburn would be an actual easier commute. It would be a straight shot just south of Atlanta to their job. They said, Mark, we're priced out of Cobb County. We would love brand new, so we know this Fairburn is an option. And I just said to them, I just threw it out there. Have you considered Dallas, Georgia? Have you considered Paulding County? And they said, this just sounds like really far out there. They went to Dallas today, and they're going to Fairburn tomorrow. And they said, Mark, you killed it. You put us onto this. We didn't even consider it. Like, we hang out because we live in Cobb County, Marietta. We hang out a lot, like to go shopping and do some things in Kennesaw. It's like only about 11, 12 minutes from where we hang in Kennesaw. It's about the same distance from where our house is now in Marietta. That's crazy. And oh my God, I fall in love. I never dreamed that our very first house, we would be able to get something brand new, sitting on a half an acre of land. And the incentives that I'm negotiating for them include a 4.99% interest rate, all blinds, all garage door openers, refrigerator. I got the refrigerator thrown in, and then 3% to use how they want. So all of their closing costs can get paid, or they could use some of that money to, like, say the washer and dryer is $1,500. They can take that 3% and take $1,500 and do that, and the rest can go towards their down payment. Towards their closing costs. So they were like, wow, just sitting in the house, knowing that the house is ready to go, it's complete, that in like 4 weeks, we can be in a brand new home, fencing in that yard, looking out at the woods. We went down to like downtown Dallas. Oh my God, like we could take our dog and walk down that area. We saw that they have like food truck Fridays. There's a playhouse down there, things like that. And so they said, even though I think one of them works at the Battery, which is on that Smyrna, Atlanta, Vinings line, and one works in downtown Atlanta, but I don't think they go into the office every single day. And Fairburn would be closer for them. They said, Mark, we're leaning. We'll go see the ones in Fairburn tomorrow, but it's going to be hard to beat Dallas, Georgia. All honesty. The incentives alone and being able to have brand new is incredible. But having a half an acre, having trees in our backyard, having a cute downtown area, having public shopping center right down the street, having the cleaners, having a Mexican restaurant, a pizza shop, everyday life needs. I will make the sacrifice and drive 20 minutes further, because when I lay my head at night and we're planning on having kids and schools are going to be important, and having our dog run around in the backyard, right? That is what we want. That's what's important to us. And before we contacted you, we followed a lot of pages, a lot of realtors, there was always something about you and Curt that you always showcased your true selves, and you always showcased areas that nobody else out there was sharing, right? We got these people posing behind their Bentleys and their Maybachs, and no shame in that. But we've always been about the everyday person. I talk about it all the time. Celebrities are our clients. Professional athletes are our clients. But our bread and butter, and why we created GreatHomesATL, is we could work with those clients and those people, but boy, does it give me so much joy to have this couple that been following us on Instagram, had a lot of different options, and because they came to us, they potentially could have their brand new home in a beautiful setting on a half an acre and have the opportunity to lock in at a low interest rate, still have area shopping, still enjoy a lot of the things that they enjoy in Cobb County, Kennesaw, Powder Springs, Marietta, all within a 12 to 15 minute radius. So that's my spiel, guys. And I hope that sharing with you, not just a shtick, like real life experiences. Our brother lives in Dallas, Georgia. Our mother lives in HIRAM, Georgia. We live in Douglasville, Georgia. These are areas that we can say ourselves, and me that has lived in a Marietta, a Virginia Highlands, where else did I live? Ellenwood, Georgia, Midtown Atlanta, and as a real estate agent, experiencing all these areas. My overall message, guys, is you can find really nice areas from Jackson County to Henry County to Douglas County to Paulding County to Cherokee County to Forsyth County, right? There's so many options. So what I want you to stop thinking about, what I want you to start thinking about is what's more important to me? Price point or commute time? What's more important to me, new or resale? Where the new will provide you a home warranty, rate buy downs, closing costs paid. It's not for everybody, because there are certain people, like if you are a neurosurgeon or you are a emergency worker and you need to be at your job in 10 minutes and your job is in Sandy Springs, then that's where you need to live. But for a majority of the people that we deal with, they work from home. They already have to commute. So you know you're going to need a good car anyways. And a 10, 15, 20, even 25 minute different, I'm not going to say longer, different commute is now possible for them to get brand new in Dallas, in Hiram, and in Douglasville. Gave you an example. Priced out of Cobb, literally 12 minutes from their house, just in Dallas, as opposed to Marietta. You're going to have an opportunity to build a brand new home and close on it in 30 days or less. Hiram, Georgia. I'm going to post probably, I might do it tomorrow. I want you to be on the lookout tomorrow. My drive-through tour. They haven't built one house in the community, not one. All they've done is laid the roads down, put the sewer systems in. They opened up for pre-sales a month ago. There's going to be 129 homes in this community in Hiram, Georgia. Hiram, Georgia. Not one nail has been nailed into a board. Not one house has gone up yet. In the pre-sale that they've only been open for 1 month, they have 50 pre-sale homes. Why? 300s, ranch and 2 stories, 3 to 5 bedrooms, being able to pick out cabinet colors, flooring colors, sink, circular or rectangle, right? And so that means there's only 60 70 more homes left. So when you see that, and now you kind of are opened up to a new area and your price point, and you want your payment still to be in the 2s instead of the 3s or 4s, and you get to design, now not custom, right? They're not gonna, at that price point, not gonna be able to custom, but to be able to pick your cabinet colors, your flooring colors, your quartz or granite, your rectangular sink or circular sink, your pedestal sink or your cabinet sink, your loft space, your master with sitting area, those type of things, your vinyl or tile, right? To be able to get a payment like that, to get $7,500 towards your closing costs, to not have to compete with other buyers on a resale home where 5, 10, 15 people want it, and you're gonna have to pay full price or over ask price and no closing costs. When you could get a rate in the 6s, 5s, or even 4s in some of these communities and get like $7,500, $10,000, $12,500 towards your closing costs is incredible. So I would jump on it. And how we do this, guys, and I've tried to make it very clear, it's still funny how some people just don't follow directions, but it's really, really simple. All you have to do is either from our profile here on Instagram or go to our website, GreatHomesATL.com. You can't miss our picture. You can't miss the button at the top of the page. All you have to do is hit begin process. When you do that and fill it out, you're automatically going to get an email from me and Curt or one of our agents, and it's going to be a welcome email, and it's going to have our lender referrals for you. And all you got to do is follow through and see how much are you pre-approved for. If that pre-approval comes back at 325, 350, 375, 400, 450, 500, these are areas that are now available to you, right? These are now areas where you can build a brand new home. Once we get that pre-approval, you're going to get another email. Once we get it, you'll be able to schedule a Zoom consultation with us. See how we're talking right here through the phone? Well, they have something called Zoom, right? Where I'll be able to see you on the camera. Curt will be able to see you on camera. Finally, great to see you, Mark and Curt. I love what you do. I want you guys to represent me for free as your buyer agents. And I love some of those communities that you've highlighted, Mark, in your home tours. No matter if it's up in Jackson County or McDonough or whatever, but what we're talking about on this live is Dallas, Hiram, and Douglasville. And let's go. I got my pre-approval for $350. I got my pre-approval for $450. I got my pre-approval for that $750,000 house that I just posted today. And what we're going to do, within 24 to 48 hours, you will be out in those communities, you will be under contract, and you will either be building your house or you'll be closing on a standing inventory house like this couple that just went out to Dallas today. And in 30 days or less, be in your brand new home. So we can't make it more easy for you. We've got the website set up, we've got the button, got the emails automated, ready to go out. You go for your pre-approval, get that number back, Zoom consultation. If it's one of the communities that you've seen highlighted, I'm going to send you out there and I'm going to get you under contract within 48 hours or less. If it's not the area you're looking for, we talk about what area you're looking for. We talk about, do you want resale or new? Do you have a home to sell? We can help you with that. So we really kind of, try to make it non-gimmicky, like fun, be a part of the family, get the knowledge, get the name of the communities, go out there and get you a brand new home or a resale home, because there's that for somebody as well. And we could talk about that on another live. The other thing I want to mention is, I don't know if I should mention this yet, but we have secured all our spots for Great Homes ATL University. More people signed up for that than we even expected. So you could still try to put in for it if anybody doesn't confirm and you want to slide into their slot. It's February 24th. 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And just because of the response, I think we're going to end up having more in-person classes. I don't know if they'll always be free because we've invested a lot of time, a lot of money into these. So obviously we can't go broke, with it. But for this first one, it's sponsored by Ameris Bank, who's one of our lender referrals. Gonna have a nice big conference room. We're gonna have a fully catered brunch, shrimp and grits, red velvet waffles, fried chicken, fruit cups, cheese scrambled eggs. Curt is now just wrapping up the presentation. I think it's gonna be like 55 slides. It's a real true, not just seminar, but like a class of how to buy a home from A to Z. So continue to be on the lookout for opportunities to sign up for those as well. Of course, we always have, if you're like, I don't even know where to begin, Mark and Curt. I love you guys, I love your videos, but I'm not so sure I'm ready to go for my pre-approval. I'm relocating, or I'm here in Atlanta and I'm tired of being a renter, or I'm coming from out of state, but I don't know necessarily where I want to live. We also have a general consultation that we do every Tuesday and Thursday, which you can book directly from our Instagram. It says labeled right there on our link tree, general consultation. And you can book us for, I think it's like 45 minutes or an hour, and pick our brains, and we could talk about a lot of stuff if you can't make the classes or you're not ready to go for your pre-approval. And all we charge is $150. We think it's worth it. If you went to an attorney or a CPA or anything like that, we think our time is valuable. We think you guys want to know the knowledge, so that's what we've opened ourselves up to. We probably do about 50 or 60 of those a year, so get on our calendar for those for a general consultation. Or like I said, if you're ready to go and you want to start this process and go for your pre-approval, begin process at GreatHomesATL.com. And we will get you into whatever you're pre-approved for. If you're pre-approved for $150, it probably is not going to be a brand new home. It definitely won't be a brand new home, but we'll find you something. You get pre-approved for over $1 million, it opens up everything. You get pre-approved for $350, $400, $450, $500. It's going to open up the doors for both possibilities. So you're not going to know unless you make that first step. So make sure you hit begin process at GreatHomesATL.com. I'll take a few questions if anybody has it for probably the next couple minutes. I want to run off to the gym because I ate good this morning, so I got to get the workout in, and then I think I'm going to have a true relaxing day tomorrow for the Super Bowl. So if you guys have any feedback, let me know where you're Instagramming in from. Let me know your name, maybe your first name, where you're Instagramming in from, what your question or comment is, and I'll try to answer it for the next few minutes. Star B asks, I'm sorry, I missed the website. Can you repeat it, please? Pretty easy to remember. What you see on our Instagram, what's our name? GreatHomesATL. So our website is GreatHomesATL.com. So it's pretty simple. All of our information, our contact information, setting the general consultation is right there on our Instagram profile. We have the link tree to sign up for Great Homes ATL University, to sign up for a general consultation, to start the process with us. So it's GreatHomesATL.com. Delphia Roberts I pray blessings to all who desire a new home. I pray you receive your heart's desire. Have a blessed day. Thanks for all the information. That was a really nice comment. Thank you so much. Let me see. Again, just let me know where you're Instagramming in from, and your, maybe not your full name, but just your first name. Any feedback or any comments. Leslie Boo says, I live in Dallas. I'm thriving out here. I'm glad. That's the second validation that we've gotten so far in the comments of people that have actually lived in Dallas. John Snow says, I'm having a hard time finding a trustworthy agent to find me some duplexes, triplexes, and quads. Stressful. The last agent I did not look out for me. Where do I find a trustworthy agent? You're talking to them. We have a great agent, Jem, who just joined too. She's really familiar with duplexes and quads and triplexes, so definitely can put you in touch. For anybody that's new to our page, who the hell is this guy on the live? I am Mark. I'm the guy you hear in the video saying, hey guys, and I do my home tours. But I'm just not that guy. I am a licensed Georgia real estate broker, which is the highest level you can get in real estate. I own my own real estate firm, which you're watching, GreatHomesATL, with my spouse, Curtis Russell. And we are GreatHomesATL. Curt is the managing broker. Again, the highest level you can get in real estate for a license. We're not just real estate agents. We're also realtors. The difference between a real estate agent and a realtor is we belong to the National Association of Realtors and the Atlanta Board of Realtors and the West Georgia Board of Realtors. So we have a ton of experience. We have a ton of resources, and we actually own our own company. Not only do we own this company, but we're out there in the streets actually buying, selling for our clients. So when you ask, where can I find a trustworthy agent? Hopefully that's one of the reasons why you're joining our page and following our page, because we are the brokers, the real brokers, we like to call ourselves, of Greater Atlanta. Thanks for joining, Shem Jem. Definitely look forward to helping you find your next home as well. Let me get back here. I'm going through all these comments. Let's see. Any last comments? And again, what I want to point out, guys, I want you to look at the first pinned comment. I need you guys to, anybody that's watching this, tell your family, friends, coworkers, colleagues, go and subscribe and set your notifications for youtube.com/. That is our own channel on YouTube. And that's where a lot of our full home tours are going to go. And the most exciting thing, in addition to, we've had cocktails with Curt on there, our education, our home tours, we are launching a brand new podcast that is going to change, I think, a lot of your perspective on real estate. So stay tuned this week. Our first trailer, we have a very highly produced podcast. We have some amazing first guests. So if you have an opportunity, definitely support us. Go to youtube.com/@GreatHomesATL and stay tuned, because the trailer drops any day now. I think it's going to give you inspiring stories, stories that we say are relatable, and stories that you're just not going to even believe. So I think it's going to change the way, if you're tired of all the ratchetness, and you're tired about all the shortcuts and the little quick, 30-second things, join us. Watch these amazing stories. These are going to be real life clients of ours that have gone through unimaginable stories, before, after, during, purchasing a home with us. So I think you're going to find it pretty amazing, and it's going to launch in March. So start being on the lookout for the little kind of previews and stuff that we're going to be doing. I think you're going to be really, really impressed. 5 more minutes, I'll be on here before I head to the gym. So again, any last questions? I'm going to share this live on our page, so you can look back. I think I've been on here almost an hour. So today's talk was about Dallas, Georgia, HIRAM, Georgia, and Douglasville, Georgia. Talking to you about the affordability, talking to you about economic development, talking to you about the housing market in those 3 areas that I think you should really consider, because we are selling out in these areas like hotcakes. We are changing people's lives. People that have bought over like 5 years ago in Dallas, HIRAM, or Douglasville, probably like $1,000 worth of equity, but a majority of them are sitting on $75,000, $125,000, $150,000 in equity in just a few years. So these are areas that I think are still overall pretty affordable, and mostly in the 3s and 4s, and then they have some very, very high-end homes in the 6s, 7s, and 8s. So if you haven't had a chance to look back at my 2 Real tours over the last 2 days, REEL. Look on our news feed, look on our Reels page, and you'll see 4 and 5 bedroom, 3-sided brick, hardwood floors, basements, 1 acres, wooded lots, gorgeous, gorgeous homes. And I think one of them, they're offering $15,000 from the builder to help with your closing costs. And remember, our lender referral that we give you, if you have not owned a home in the last 3 years, if you qualify for conventional and you live in a certain area of Greater Atlanta, you could qualify for the $12,500 grant program. So think about it. If you do qualify for that, plus you're getting $15,000 from the builder, getting into this amazing 3-sided brick home already ahead of the game with about, what's that, $27,500 to play with. $27,500 to play with to get a 3-sided brick, 1 acre home in a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous community and setting in Douglasville. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this live. Again, I will post it for everybody to see on our YouTube channel and on our Instagram. You can always follow us at GreatHomesATL on Facebook, Instagram, and most importantly, YouTube, because that's where the podcast is going to be premiering and our home tours are going to be premiering. So make sure you start the process with us. As always, GreatHomesATL.com. GreatHomesATL.com. Pretty easy to remember because the page you're following is GreatHomesATL. So all you got to do is add .com to that. Hit the begin process button. Get the email for the 3 lender referrals. Have the Zoom consultation with us and get under contract for your new or resale home on average within 48 hours of meeting us on our Zoom. All right, guys, we'll talk to you soon. Make it a great rest of the weekend. Who do you have, KC or San Francisco? I just want a good game. All right, have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.